Our next guest and speaker is Eric Tollar. He's a recent honors graduate of Emerson College and Communications Director for Citizens Against Road Tolls. He's an award-winning documentary filmmaker and nationally recognized viral marketing consultant. His organization is putting the question on the ballot to close the tolls in Massachusetts. He should be a pretty darn popular guy. Eric.
In 1952, an 8-page piece of legislation was written. It created a road that should help commuters travel from the west into our city of Boston. The original road, called the Massachusetts Turnpike, was built for a mere $257 million. A little part of that legislation, a part that not a lot of people paid much attention to, Section 17 said that as soon as the bonds are paid off, the road shall be free of tolls. Free of tolls. Is there anything that is free in Massachusetts? The thought itself is scandalous that anything should be free, but it was supposed to be. So what happened? Revenue is what happened. Greed is what happened. The big dig is what happened. All of a sudden, the powers that be realized that they have a regular cash cow and a viable source of collateral. So, they take out bonds to pay for the big dig. 20 years later, what do we have to show for it? $2.4 billion in debt, junk bonds, and inequitable toll rates. Now we, the people of Massachusetts, are being saddled with that debt. Every time you give $1 to the turnpike, 58 cents of that dollar is being used to pay for the big dig. Do you think it's fair that we are paying for their bad management? No. These are debts that should have been manageable, but now they're out of control. In high school economics, I learned a lesson that I won't ever forget. I couldn't believe that anything this simple was being used by businessmen in the real world. Mr. Santos, my teacher, said that whenever a company is in trouble, they have to do a cost-benefit analysis. If their profits are less than their costs, they might want to consider closing their doors. If their deficit margin is larger than any profit they have ever made, they should absolutely close their doors. It seems to me that the people in the MTA never took high school economics. They're asking the government to bail them out because they cannot pay for their debt as fast as they can rack it up. At first, this didn't make any sense to me. I mean, what could they be spending their money on? You can find all of this information on our website, closethetolls.org, but let me give you a quick preview. The average salary of a toll taker is $73,000 a year. The top 15% of toll takers make $80,000 a year. Now, if you think that's amazing, they don't count lifetime health care and pension in that number. Not to mention, the toll takers don't pay the tolls anyway. They have revenue-free transponders. They spend $23 million a year on fringe benefits, whatever those are. The MTA made investments in a few companies. You might know the name of these. AIG? Lehman Brothers? Do those sound like sound investments to you? In the end, a system where toll takers make more money than our teachers is broken, and it needs to be reformed. Now, reform is a dirty word these days. We hear it being thrown around Beacon Hill. Transportation reform, ethics reform, pension reform. Give it a little bit of time and they're going to be talking about reform on the word reform. I looked up reform in a dictionary. This is what I found. The tangible improvement or amendment of what is wrong, corrupt, or unsatisfactory. There is one word in there that I found very important, the word tangible. The word tangible. Reform is not promises that legislators make through quotes in a newspaper. Reform is not changing the name of the MTA to the DOT, replacing a couple people and calling it cured. Reform is something that we can see in our everyday lives. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to take a symbol of mismanagement and corruption and remove it from Massachusetts. And the Massachusetts Turnpike is that foremost symbol of a broken system and must be tangibly changed. This is why we must close the tolls. This is not a liberal issue. This is not a conservative issue. This is a common sense issue. This is an average worker and an everyday business issue. This is all of our issue. Citizens Against Road Tolls is an organization formed in the wake of the victory of the group called Stop the Pike Hike. We were told that the tolls would go up 100%. 100%, and we said no. We rallied 17,000 people to our cause, and if you've gone through the tunnels today, the tolls have not gone up. That's one victory, and we need to transition it to a second. Now, we have two options to close the tolls. Option one, we can get Michael Dukakis to jump in his tank, roll down the turnpike, and have him leave a wake of destruction. Or we can do a ballot initiative. I want to give the people of Massachusetts the opportunity to tell the legislators that they are tired of paying for their bad investments in companies that are going bankrupt. I want to give the people of Massachusetts the opportunity to tell their legislators that they are tired of paying for patronage jobs at outrageous salaries. We are tired of the tolls and everything that they represent, and it is time to tear them down and never allow them to be rebuilt. We absolutely cannot do this without all of your help. I urge you all, please, we're the last booth on the left. Go, you can collect information there. Please also visit our website, closethetolls.org, where you can donate, volunteer, and help us tear down the tolls. Thank you, and have a happy 4th of July.